Okay. Next one. Sorry, I ran really fast. If it's too fast, please stop me. The next one or the last one for my presentation is about the product lifecycle costing and target costing. First of all, let us understand what are these two. So product lifecycle costing it's the costing model that we incorporate all costs involved in the production from the beginning until the end. It's the whole cycle of the product. So starting from the design to the manufacturing, distribution, to customer distribution, and then end of life. End of life here is the component that mostly forgot by a lot of people that do costing. You don't really kind of like taking care once we need to cease the operation of that product and then move to the next one, because any product it has its life. At one point in time, it's not that necessary anymore in the market, so we need to move to a next product. And that end of life part, there's also huge cost, which is mostly forgotten. So as already explained, it's a tool that used to track and manage costs throughout the product life cycle. And also from this product life costing, we actually profiling the cost over the life of the product. Oh, thank you. The next one, the target costing. So what is target costing? I briefly mentioned about that a little bit already, but the target costing is a little bit different from other traditional costing, whereas you calculate what you need for the production, what resource you need, what labor you need, what marketing you need, and then you come up with the cost, and then you calculate the price for the sale. But for target costing, you actually start from setting up the selling price. So you have the selling price, and then you minus the margin that you want to have from that product, and then you calculate the cost. And then from there, whatever product design, whatever production require, you need to make sure that you manage within the targeted cost to ensure you are competitive in the market and you can get the same, the level of margin you're looking for. Briefly already discussed about this, try to understand about the difference between traditional costing and strategic costing. So strategic costing here, I'm referring to both the product lifecycle costing and target costing. So traditional costing, like I briefly mentioned, and everyone know that, you start with the cost. If you want to sell something, you go and buy from your supplier, and then you add the transportation cost, you add the staff cost to that, and then you say, okay, this is the price that you should be selling, because these are the costs that have already incurred. So you have cost plus the margin equal to the selling price you want to sell. So this, by doing this, is actually focus on the internal factor. So you focus on what are required to have that produce or be ready for the market. And as the result, the product itself may be overpriced because you actually don't care about the market out there. You starting from your own cost. Whereas for target costing, it starts from the selling price minus the margin that we want, then equal to the cost. So you know that that's the level of cost you can work on. And for this model, it's actually a market-driven approach, because the selling price is actually based on the market. You get it from the market, you get it from your competitor, you get it from the industry standard. And yes, so it improved the your competitiveness, because you use your selling price, which is getting from the market itself, and so you calculate your cost. So that with that cost, it also have, sorry, this the same, it improve the innovation. So because you know that this is the maximum cost you can work on your product, then you have to be very, very innovative in your product design and also the production process, making sure that you can meet the level of cost that you are looking for. And the product life cycle, so a little bit, we don't talk about the selling price, we don't talk about it, but the cost for us itself, so this one can be used in anything, even if you want to use it under the traditional costing or under the target costing. But the product life cycle costing is like it's cost of all stage. So it focuses on all stage, and it helps us to select better. So if a better product or a better investment opportunity. So assuming that you come up with two different products and then you need to compare, try to understand which product you should be doing because you have limited resource. You cannot do everything. You cannot do all. With this product life cycle, it gives you better idea which one you should be choosing because it compare the cost along the whole, within the life cycle of the product, the whole thing. So you're not missing any part. And of course, when you can better select the product that you want to do, then it means that it helps you to allocate the resource efficiently, improve the profitability of the shareholder or of the business itself. Because the business only have this much resource, this limited resource, or so you need to know where to put these two to make sure that we can have better
So
profit.
it's not.
Okay, so this is the process of target costing. We understand a little bit about how what is target costing. So let's see how do we do that. First of all, we need to set the selling price. So how to set the selling price is actually you do the market study, try to understand from the competitor what are the products available in the market, what are the substitute products out there, try to understand their price, and then from there, select set your own selling price that you want to sell. And after that, we also need to set the target profit. And the target profit is actually set based on your strategic goal. So each company would have your own strategic direction. What is the profit margin you're looking for? What is the margin, the standard margin for yourself? So this target profit is actually set from that strategic goal direction that you have from your shareholder or from your management. Then from that, you have the selling price, you have the target profit, and you can calculate the cost. So when we have the cost, and then we also have our product design, and then we also have all the costs involved in that. Then we can also calculate from the product design to the production, what are all the costs. And then we compare the two together. So this is your target cost, and this is the cost from your production. Then try to see the two, what are the gap. And once we identify the gap, and the gap refer to where we have the actual cost higher than our production cost. For example, we talk about our product early on, then we say our target cost is 80, given that we want 20% profit from that, which is small. So if 80 is the target cost, but then when we do the product design and we calculate the cost for the production, it is 85. So in that case, your cost gap is $5. So right now, when you identify this gap, you need to plan or you need to think about activity or action that can be done to close this gap. How do we reduce that $5? Is there any process in the production that can be improved? Is there any activity that doesn't really add the value, the right value they're looking for, that can be eliminated? So now let's talk about advantage of target costing. With target costing, it helps with improving the process, like I mentioned, because we have our destined cost. We know how much cost we have to, that we should be incurring for the product. So if there is anything that is not really contributing to that, or it making the cost is higher, then we try to improve that process, making sure that we stay within the budget. Again, it encourages innovation, because one way or one biggest way to reduce the cost in our production or in any production is about innovation. Doing a little bit thing different, doing thing a little bit differently from other can result in cost reduction. Competition, it encourages competitions as well, because it starts from the selling price, go with the margin, and then you identify the cost. So from there, you already have like your own competitive advantage. The moment you set your eye on that product, you already start thinking about how to be competing in the market. Whereas for traditional costing, you start with your own resource, how much you need to do that, and then go out to the market and try to compete with other based on all other factors. But from here, with the target costing, you already start with one of the competitive advantage, which is the selling price. And because we focus on all of that area, as the result, you have a product that provide best value for the customer money. So the customer spend on the product and they get the item or the product that meet their kind of like main requirement is best value, meaning that we do not waste our resource into the area or the feature that doesn't really add value to the customer. So that are the advantage of target costing. What about the product lifecycle costing? Because product lifecycle costing consider cost at all stage of the product, it means that when we do that, we have to budget over the full product life, which resulted in more accurate cost per unit. And also as a result, then we have the better or accurate selling price as well. And from the product lifecycle costing or cost analysis, it allows the business to select the product that have the highest profitability. So as an example, I mentioned earlier, if you have more than one product you want to design or you want to introduce to the market, with the comparison using the product life cycle, you see which one actually resulted in higher profit. Because some product actually you can get a lot of profit during the production or during the sale, but then closing that production itself require a lot of cost that will eat all the profit that you made during the mature stage of the product, which is where the product is highly needed and we make a lot highest profit. Redesign product. So if we do the analysis and then we see that the cost is too much for the whole thing, it exceeding the level that you are looking for, then you can redesign the product based on that analysis to make sure that the new designs coming out and can meet the required cost you are looking for. And it encourages long-term view. So when we do product lifecycle costing, we are not looking about 1 or 2 years. So the management focusing on this cannot just say, okay, I want to do this product. It's going to make a lot of sales. It's going to make a lot of profit. I take all my bonus and that's it. But with the product lifecycle costing, it's actually encountering or factoring the cost after that into these calculations as well. So this one, it have reduced the, especially from the management, the sense that, okay, do that and then take the bonus in short term and forget about the long term. When we do product lifecycle costing, they think about the whole, the long-term process, even how we can exit the product from the market. And the contingency liability, this mainly as the last stage, which I call the product, but it's the end of life of the product itself. If we want to cease the production of our specific product and process, what are the costs that might be involved? With the product lifecycle costing, we already factor this into our cost budget, meaning that we have a contingency amount in there to cover this. And these items are mostly forgotten. So you do, again, you make new product, you do the development, you sell it. It's so good, but then after that, you are incurring a lot of costs just to close the issue that resulted from the production, especially on the environment. And because right now environment is also very key for any areas as well. Okay, so key takeaway for the strategic cost management technique, which are the product lifecycle costing and the target costing. It helps with the cost control. It increased the profitability, and this cost control management and also the increase in the profitability are actually happening at different stage. For example, the target costing, the control or the profitability, it actually happened at the R&D stage because you do the calculation of the cost and you see that it doesn't meet your target costing required. Then you go back to the R&D and then try to do different things. Whereas for the product life cycle costing, the area that you look at the cost control or where you can increase profitability from the product is actually throughout the life of the product, which include the introduction, the growth stage, maturity stage, and the decline stage. So that's it. for me, and the next one would be presented by, I think Ratana, right? Strategic profit planning and decision making. Ratana, are you ready?
Yes, Bong. Yes, Bong, I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, yep.
Okay, Bong. Good morning, Dr. Sa, Dr. Visna, Doctor and Professor and classmate. And today I will be present about the strategic profit planning and decision making.
Sorry, Dr.
Yes,
Ratana.
yes,
Yeah. I think maybe the student maybe comment or I don't say comment, but to talk about the appreciate that when the student present finish in each topic, right? In each topic, Dr. Vesana.
Yes,
Yes.
Miss Chairwoman. So, do you allow maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes to discuss? Maybe
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
Yep,
Discuss.
we
I
can do
think
that
it's a
2-3
very good,
minutes.
very good presenter and presentations. But I would like to see someone to I think maybe to say appreciate inquiry comment.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So Miss Chairwoman, can because one thing you present very good, about product life cycle costing, target costing, and also activity-based costing. But I'm not quite sure about the. But let you explain me, because Vietnam, US, Vietnam, the government set the budget to reduce by 10% in the government civil servant and reduce the budget for the salary to ensure the efficiency of the government running. In 5 years, they plan to cut the cost about 10%. So in this scenario, is it product life cycle costing or target costing or what? Can you explain?
Actually, no, it's not target costing, it's not product life cycle costing, but this is one area of just cost reduction strategy. So in any business, at one point in time that you need to review the whole business process, try to understand which can be eliminated. I think put it more to this. How they come up to that they should be reducing the salary cost by 10%. It's already a result of some activity done. Whether they do activity-based cost management, which they try to understand all the activity involved in, let's say if it is running a government, so all the activity involved in running the government, what are the key components, the staff, salary, the travel, whatever that. And then they see that this area is the area that a lot of cost has been incurring, and that even if we reduce it by 10-20%, it's not going to be impacting the business. So maybe they use that. But the most important thing that I think they have gone through is about the stress test. They should have already done the stress test to understand if they reduce their salary by 10%, what are the consequences. But what we hear now is that they reduce by 10% is already a result. So they do the stress test, try to see that, okay, if they reduce the cost by 10%, what does that mean to their staff? For business, when we do that, we say, okay, if we reduce the cost by 10%, we know that some people might be resigning. Okay, we know that we might lose some staff, especially the area where we want the cost reduction to be. But then we also already run the test. If we lose that staff, if we lose that component, what would be the impact to our business model? So that's somehow related to activity-based costing, right? We see that thing, that change, how it's going to be impact the whole business process. And if from our analysis, the impact is manageable, which means that we sell the cost by 10%, but the impact, we're not going to reduce our sale or reduce our revenue by 10%, then it's a good thing to do. Then they decided to do that. I hope I can answer.
Yeah, very good. And
Try
just
to
one,
try to
one
be
more, one
short,
more.
okay? Because I'm really
Yeah. One more, you know,
getting
because
the time.
one more is about, you remember the government of Cambodia having one project about the border road construction along Vietnamese border. And then those money actually collected and contributed from the citizen of Cambodia. The budget is, I think, more than 20 million US dollars, and then can build maybe 20 kilometers of road. And for this project, can you analyze which category of the cost analysis it should be belong to? Is it project life cycle costing or activity-based costing or target costing?
Well, now you know that you have the budget, you have 20 billion, okay? And then
And
you
a
also
certain
know
period of
that
time to
what
close
you
the
need to
project.
achieve from that. So it's mainly related to target costing. I think the strategic cost model or technique that we discussed briefly this morning, the one that fit best to this project is actually target costing. This is what we have. This is what we want to achieve. So how do we manage this? How do we build the road that we want with this budget? So to me, it is activity. The target costing.
Okay. Thank you. I'm good, Paul. But if Dr. Sa or Chris, do you have a question? You know, because they really want to finish.
I think is a very good present. I think all of you maybe to set the company for increase productivity for the company in Cambodia. I think the knowledge is very good, right? To the business consultants of
Yeah, I want to do
Cambodia.
that.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sak, this presentation, where all members will be given a copy or be able to access this presentation, because it's a really, for me, it's an education in costing. It was a really great clarity of presentation.
We share in group. So
Thank you.
Dr.
Yeah,
Sa can
very
send
useful.
that to our
Okay.
Yeah,
members.
extremely good. Thank you.
Okay. Because a little time, right? To the go ahead. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Chairwoman, you can manage.